Oh my goodness, you guys are fighting. Why are you fighting? Why are you fighting? Quit fighting. Okay, for all those that have not been to the community tab, go check out my post. Go check out my post. It'll give you a little heads up of what's happening here, why I'm here, 2 days in a row. I was here yesterday, and it's just this weather, right? It will get rain for about 10-15 minutes. It'll quit for about half an hour and then comes down again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just give you guys kind of an idea of where I'm talking about, what I'm talking about, and I'm going to point out some things for you. I love it here. A lot of times I just come and I spend 2-3 hours just sitting by the water. Okay, I was here, like I said, I was here yesterday, and it was, oh man, it was rainy. We're overcast, as you can see. Very, very overcast here today too, but the rain stopped. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna come do this today. I'm gonna use my little pointer. So there's a lot going on down here. First, we're going to take a little walk down the road here. I'm going to show you something. I'll show you something. See, this is not a bad little trail that I'm on right now. They do have gravel on this one, but it ends just up the way here. And I'm going to show you what they're doing. Hutterite colony, right? They own the land up next to the river. Of course, legally, they've got to be, a good 100 feet from the water, right? And they can't block access to this water for recreational purposes, what have you. They can't block access to the river, to the water's edge. This is what they've started to do. And that's some big piping. This isn't wood fences. And there's another one on just behind those trees, another side to that. And they're gonna bring them together. And what I was told, and see, that's my trail. And I've got to go way, way, way 2 miles yet down that dirt trail. Screen center, that dirt trail. I got to travel 2 miles. It's just a mud road, sand mud road, right? There's no gravel on that. And see, it hugs the side next to the bank of the river. And what I heard and what we're seeing here, and I'm hearing this from the source itself, from a couple of the colony members, that their field boss, just out of spite, he's one of those, he got a head position as a head man, and now that's gone to his head. And this again is from the source, right? I've got 2 or 3 of the guys there saying they don't like him. It's went to his head. They said he's got a big head, it's gonna explode. They are not liking it, and this is what he's gonna do. He wants control, right? But see, he can't legally prevent anybody from getting to that water. You know, we've been coming here over 60 years, far before the colony even settled here down in this area where I live. They don't live down here. This is where they have their gardens, right? Their gardens and some of their fields, their grain fields. On any given warm weekend through the summer, you might have 30 people all along this river. And everybody here takes care. When I come down here, I never see garbage. I never see people driving in their fields. People are very, very considerate here, and they always have been. And now, after how many years, this guy's he's gonna stop all that and see. And this is where the Sasquatch come in. I think they very much enjoy the people, and I have a relationship with them. I know they love it when they come here. I gift them, I talk to them, I come and play my flute for them, and they come. I hear them. I hear the woodknocks, I hear the vocals. They enjoy this, right? They do enjoy this. We've bonded, and I think what's happening here, if you haven't, go check out my post. I really believe that they're not happy with this, right? And this is why. So, as I mentioned in my post on the community tab, I've had 3 of them call me, and the gentleman that I spoke to yesterday, one of the colony members, he said, okay, I need to tell you something, because he's been to my house, so the other 2 that I've talked to from the colony. He said, I need to tell you something. I'm phoning to tell you something. I said, okay, go ahead. What news, right? What news do you have? He said, okay, you know where the gardens are? Where the corn garden is. Right behind me. This is the cornfield. All fenced in. That fence here, that's an 8-foot fence. That's a predator fence. That's to keep elk out of their corn. This last pole here, this you see this dirt area here in the field, that's their potato field. Oh, that's got to be about 7 acres, 6 or 7 acres of corn, and then they have another 6 or 7 acres of potatoes right here, right? So he says, you know where our cornfield is? I said, yeah. He says, you need to go down there. I'm like, why? You don't have any corn yet, right? It's not growing yet. It's just coming up. It's probably about 4 inches tall. He says, no. He said, there's tracks in the cornfield right here. And I'm like, what kind of tracks? And he says, you know those casts, those footprints you see at your farm? Because they've been to my house, right? And they've seen the cast that I poured, that I've lifted off the property. I said, yeah. I said, are there Bigfoot tracks there? He says, there is. And he said, the people are freaking out. And he said, and then they're finding great big boulders and rocks in that garden and in the potato garden and in the other field along the river. I'm like how big? He said, they're boulders. They're big and they're sharp and pointy, and you need to go see. I said, well, I can't just walk in there. And I said, when I want to see what I need, that's what I was hoping to come down here today, was run into the garden man, the guy who runs the gardens off the colony, to see if he'll take me in there, because he was the first one who mentioned it to this other guy that I was speaking to. And the women, it's the women that come down and do all the weeding and hoeing and caring for the gardens. They don't want to come down here because they're finding Bigfoot tracks. Huge. They're like 20-inch tracks. Okay, and here's the sticker. Here's what's freaking them out the most. And seeing, I want to go in there, right? I need to document this. And I also want the garden man to take me to where the boulders are, that they've removed them. They piled them up in the trees way across that field behind me. So there's that. Okay, there's the rocks, right? The boulders. But what's freaking them out the most, this is an 8-foot predator fence. An 8-foot fence, predator fence, all the way around this cornfield. And it stretches over here. Here's the north end, right? Runs all the way down there. That's a long ways. It's a very long, it's a very big cornfield, and it's all predator fenced. Here's what's freaking the gardening group. All the women, they don't want to come down here because they've got Sasquatch tracks coming through here, through the cornfield, and they're going right into the potato field. But the thing is, that's an 8-foot fence, and the guy that runs the gardens, he was telling the other gentleman I was talking about, what's freaking them out is the tracks are coming through the cornfield, and just, it's as if they walked right through that fence into the potato field. He said it doesn't look like they jumped. It looks like they just kept walking and went right through. And there is no place that's broken, right? They didn't bust the fence to go through. So the tracks are way at the end over here, way at that end. And like I said, this is not my property. I'm not going to go tramping through their potato field. And then they're way at that end of the cornfield. And what I understood was they start way over there in that corner. And it was in the middle of that potato field, and there were all these big boulders and rocks were, and they had to remove some in their cornfield as well. Very, very, very interesting, right? I'll show you how large this fence is. I'm just going to walk up there so you have an idea. Yeah, that's a good 8-foot fence, right? Okay. Now they don't want to come down here. Oh, the women don't want to come and take care of the gardens. They're freaked out. And they're also finding at that far end, down the end of that strip of fence here, gray hair. There's a bunch of hair on the fence. And it looks like where they walked through. The garden man, he said it looked like he said it was almost, whatever this is, went right through their fence, and he doesn't get it. The friend that I have at the colony, he said to the garden man, he says, well, is it Sasquatch? Is it a Bigfoot? He says, I don't believe in them. And he said, neither should you. And my friend said, well, what else do you think it is then? You've seen the tracks, you've seen it. How do you explain it? He says, I don't know. I don't believe in them. He just refuses. He just refuses to believe. And there are a lot of people like that. They don't want to go there. They don't want to go there, right? But they may have to. And I think it all has to do with what's happening over here with this fence, this gate. Oh, I need to get in there. I'm hoping I can. I apologize if I can't. I've been making calls, so I've been hanging out here, driving in and out of here, hoping he'd show up, but I don't think he wants to. I actually got the feeling that he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to get into the conversation. So like I said, there's a lot of people, they don't want to go there, because if you go there and you admit to it, it changes you, and you have to start thinking about things differently, right? And people don't like change. They don't want to go, they don't want things to change. They just want to think that, you know, their beliefs and what they think and their ideas of things is right and correct. They don't want to admit to being wrong, and they do not want to change, right? They want to stay in their safe place, in their bubble, right? It's easier. It's easier. And I think that's what I'm dealing with right now here. Except for my buddy there. Well, I'm friends with 2 or 3 of them over the years, but the one I talk to quite often, he's the one who phoned me. He believes. He believes in them because he's seen things and he's heard things. Since this has all been happening, he's told me a few things, and he had never mentioned before. And so I think he wanted to talk about it. And it was an opportunity for him to talk about this, right? So that's good. That was good. I told him, feel free. I'll listen, right? I'll listen, and I'll believe you. I'll believe you. And he opened up a little more, and he started telling me more. So I think, just based on him, on his own experiences, they've lived in this area for many years. They've spent a lot of time along this river. I think there's more than just him that's heard and seen and experienced things here. So this is what I know at this point, and if I can get an okay and permission to go in here, because those tracks are going to disappear. If we get more rain, you'll never even know it was a Bigfoot track, if we get a lot of rain. So I'm hoping within the next day or 2 or 3, as long as the weather holds up, they'll still be there, unless they come and plow them over, because it's freaking them out. And the garden man might do that just to appease the women, right? The ladies that come and take care of the gardens, because they don't want to come down here. And the hare's freaking them out too. The hare that they found, they don't want to touch it. The guy that runs the gardens here, he said it's not bear, it's not grizzly, it's not moose. It looks human-like, and it's gray. It's a gray color, and it was on the fence where he figured they walked through, right? And see, I'd like to see it. I would never take it. I would never touch it myself. We just don't do that. We were taught growing up not to touch that or bring that stuff home, right? And I understand why, because I've heard the stories of people that have confiscated or have taken hair samples or things like that, and they've had nightmares, night terrors, and things got really crazy until they took it back, right? Until they took it back. I've heard quite a few of those stories from my relatives as well. They don't touch anything. They just, if you see it, respect it, move on, right? Move on. Okay. That's what I know. That's what I know to this point. What we're going to do, I did bring gifts. We're going to go gift. And while I still can get over there, I'm hoping they don't do this. I'm hoping they don't put that gate up. And I don't think it'll go over well here. I think already they've thrown boulders and rocks in their gardens. They're leaving tracks. That's a statement in itself. They've never done this before, according to the colony members. They've never seen that in their gardens, and all of a sudden there's all these Sasquatch tracks in their gardens, and then the big boulders and rocks being thrown in, and in the seed field too, that field that I drive along to get to the gifting bowl, there too they're finding great big rocks, big boulders in their field. And see, that's not going to go over well. They get in there with their combine or swathers, and they pick that stuff up or hit them, it'll ruin their equipment, right? I think the Bigfoot know. They know that, and that's why they're doing it. But they need to change their mind, and they need to remove that if they're thinking on putting that gate up. I heard yesterday already that they're having a meeting. The elders are having a meeting whether or not that should happen. And so maybe it won't. And I think if they remove it, things will be fine. It'll go back to the way it was, peaceful. But if they block me off and other people, but I think, I don't mean to be arrogant or sound arrogant or self-centered, but I do have a bond with them, and it's been years I've been spending time with this clan, and they enjoy it. I know they do, right? We enjoy each other, and if these guys are going to stop that, I mean, we'll continue. Like, if I couldn't get in there, I could move that bowl this way, downriver. But this is where this group is, right? Where I go, where I had that bowl set up, that's where they are. That's their territory. And I think they do migrate down here. This is 3 miles downriver. But, I mean, they do have large territories. They do have very large territories. And this is the same group. But I could move a bowl down this way, somewhere downriver. And I would. Nothing's going to stop us from having that relationship, that connection, right? So we'll work it out one way or another, but I don't think they're happy with this at all. But we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell, right? Okay, let's get busy. I'm going down. We're going to go gift the clan. I brought gifts, and I need to go see them. They know that I know what's happening here, and they also know that I know they're not happy with it, and they may just take matters into their own hands. I'm doing things on my part. If these guys will not be so cowardly and answer my phone calls and talk to me, I could tell them, and I actually do want to talk to one of the head guys there and say, if you don't believe in them, but you see this stuff, if you ever see anything that looks like a Bigfoot walking upright down there, don't ever fire a rifle, because they also have babies. They have little ones with them too, and you're going to end up having a war on your hands. You just don't do that. You don't. I think I have one with me here right now. I just heard walking footfalls behind me somewhere. Hello? I'm here. I'm gonna head to the bowl. I brought you some goodies. Okay, let's do that. See you in a bit. Hopefully I can. Yesterday when I was here, I drove down there to go check on things, and there was two young couples camping down there with their kids. There was about 4 or 5 little 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds running around there by their fire, and I visited them for a little while just to ask them if the colony bothered them or said anything to them about being there, and they said no, not yet. So, and they did see the fence, and they were asking about it, and I said, well, hopefully they don't, right? Hopefully they don't, because I guess they come down camping here quite often throughout the summer, bring their kids, and they fish and swim, and they were kind of hoping it don't happen either. So for different reasons than myself, but I mean, they love it here, right? They enjoy it, and they were very happy camping there. So I'm going to see if their camp is gone, because it's Sunday today, and a lot of times people just come and camp for the weekend, and then Sunday they're out, and so we'll see. I'll know when I get down the trail here if I can get to the site. All right, see you in a bit.